If you're walking your dog solo, binging on your favorite series alone, or even booking that table for one, today's session is for you. Because solitude and loneliness are not the same thing. And baby, it's time we stop confusing the two. Hello, beautiful people. It is your favorite certified life and relationship empowerment coach. I am Dr. Freda, and welcome back to another power session with me. Today, we are diving into a topic that so many people secretly struggle with, but rarely unpack out loud. It's being alone doesn't mean being lonely. So, as you know, we only have 30 minutes in this power session where I have to break down information, give you definitions, as well as give you tools and resources to help you remember your own power. So, let's get into it. So there were so many lies told, and usually they come from our formidable years. And it also depends on what part of the where you're from too, and how you were raised. If you actually heard these lies or if you subscribe to these lies. We have been spoon fed this idea that if you're not in a relationship, something must be wrong with you, like somehow you're incomplete until somebody chooses you. Why somebody have to choose you for you to feel complete? Does anyone ever question that? Like, that makes no sense to me because that's completely wrong, right? So let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a relationship? Have you ever been in a relationship and still felt completely unseen, unheard, or even alone? That should tell you right there that loneliness isn't about who's around you. It's about your relationship with yourself. And we're going to start by breaking that myth today. Because you know what? Sometimes being alone is the most powerful, peaceful, and purposeful chapter in your life. And I'm not saying being alone forever, but sometimes we have to be alone in different seasons of our life to evolve, to grow, to learn whatever that lesson is to be learned at that time. Sometimes you have to do that alone. So let's understand and break down what is loneliness and what is aloneness, because they're not synonymous. The definition of loneliness is the ache that says, I don't feel connected. It's a disconnection, which means you can be in a room full of people, you could be in a relationship, you can have 1 million subscribers, and they show up to your live every day. But you still have this underlining feeling that you're by yourself. That's loneliness. Aloneness is the state of being by yourself without suffering from it. Like I said, you can have 1 million friends around you and still feel by yourself, not seen, not heard, not even validated. But on the flip side, for aloneness, you can be sitting at a solo brunch with your journal, a cup of coffee, and some tunes in your ear and feel completely whole. The difference between loneliness is that feeling of disconnect, not feeling connected to others or to something higher than yourself or bigger than you. Aloneness is a choice. It's a state of you being by yourself without suffering from it. And when you learn how to sit with yourself in peace, you become dangerously powerful, because now nobody can come in and fill a void. You've already filled that void. I always tell people, you're not waiting for someone to complete you. When you know who you are and you know your self-worth and you know that you are enough, you are already whole when you become a partner to someone else. They're just your accessory. They're not making you whole. Now let that marinate for a minute. Now, why alone time is so sacred and is a necessity for everyone. I learned the hard way. Silence is where you meet your true self. Every morning to this day, between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m., that's Freda time. I have my accountability call. I do my meditation. I read. I journal. I get back to self. Because when you put on your clothes and you leave your house, or even when you get out the bed, depending on how your house is set up, who's living in your house, you have to be on. And your energy is constantly being given away throughout the day. So you have to learn how to sit with self in that aloneness, to regenerate, to rebuild, to listen, to download information, to hear what the next step in your life, right? When you sit in aloneness, your dreams speak louder. You can hear it clearer. Your wounds become clear, where there's opportunities for you to grow in your life, even if you're feeling your very best. That is amazing. But until you transition from this physical being, there's going to always be areas in your life for opportunities of growth. When you sit in aloneness, you can hear that. You can feel that. And your intuition and your higher self will start telling you, sis, bruh, I've been trying to show you this for years. But because we have so much clutter, whether it's the social media or our job or our partner or whatever we want to insert into that empty space so we don't sit with ourselves in aloneness, will keep us from our greatness. Being alone gives you space to reclaim and remember your own voice. Sitting in aloneness, rebuild your standards. Sitting in aloneness, refuel your spirit. It's hard to do that when you consistently occupy yourself with things and with people, or the fallacy that being alone is detrimental to you. It's on the contrary, it actually builds you and grow you for the partnership that you deserve. But you have to sit with self to even know what that is. I cannot tell you how many times I coach people who come to me and say, I want a relationship that's fulfilling, loving, and sustainable. Well, what else? That's what everybody wants that. I hope so. If you don't, then, that's your prerogative as well. But what else? What do you need versus what do you want? What are some of your negotiables versus non-negotiables? You have to sit with self to understand what self needs. And your needs, standards, and boundaries will change with the seasons of your life. But in order to understand what that is at that moment in time, you have to sit with self. No one else can answer that question for you or those questions for you. You don't need a +1 to feel worthy. You are the +1. You are the +1. So this is going to be a moment for truth for everyone who is listening to this podcast. I'm going to ask you this question, and I always ask rhetorical questions because that's what they are. I want you to think about it. Are you afraid to be alone, or are you afraid of what you will hear in the silence? I'll repeat. Are you afraid of being alone, or are you afraid of what you may hear, feel in your aloneness? Which one is it? Or is it all the above? Because sometimes we chase love not because we're ready, but because we are running. We're running from emptiness. We're running from validation. We're running from ourselves. But why don't we flip that narrative? Why don't we flip that pattern and ask ourselves the question, what if you stop running and start rooting? What if you start rooting into who you are? Nourish the roots. Plant and nourish the roots of remembering who you are. You know, the world does a great job telling us who we are not and falling short. It's our responsibility to ourselves to remind, encourage, remember, empower ourselves daily of our own power and who we are. We get into these relationships losing our identity. Well, you can't lose something you never had. You gave it away. You probably gave it away 3 relationships ago. It's time to get that back. It's not meant for other people. It's your identity. So get rooted in who you are. Get rooted in your purpose. What are you here for? If you're just here to take, then you missed the whole purpose of this whole human experience. This is a transaction where you give and take. Your purpose is for others. Your passion is for yourself. So what is your purpose? And if you don't know, that is completely fine. That is okay. But sitting in aloneness, asking empowering questions to self will help you remember your purpose and root in what real love looks like. Starting with yourself. Some people grew up in an unloving, toxic, unhealthy environment. Some people first interaction in a relationship, which is their caregivers, in their formidable years, wasn't loving. Some people don't even know what love looks like or feel like. That's why sitting in aloneness will help you remember what that looks like and what it feels like. Because especially if you go from relationship to relationship not fully healing, you're carrying on those energetic, emotional, mental baggages with you to the next relationship. If you want real love that you know you deserve, it starts with yourself. You teach people how to treat you. You can't expect someone to love you when you don't even love yourself. Make it make sense, because that don't make sense. You can't attract something that you don't even have. People come to me and say, well, I want a man to do this, and he got to be that, and he got to provide this. What are you bringing? What are you doing? What are you providing? And I'm not just talking about materialistic things. I'm not talking about tangible things. I'm talking about the inside. What are you bringing emotionally? What are you bringing mentally, spiritually? What are you bringing? So you have to root in yourself. Rooting in real love starts with you. When you become home for yourself, you stop looking for shelter in people who don't even have a roof over their own soul. Stop it. So how do you love yourself in solitude? How do you love yourself when you're in that alone state. And I'm not saying this is forever, but you should incorporate some type of alone time with yourself daily. That's part of self-care. That's a self-care 101. Showing up for yourself. But what are some ways you can love yourself in your solitude? The first thing you can do is date yourself. I was talking to one of my clients who is currently single, and she was telling me that she wants a man to take her out to these type of restaurants where she can doll up and get dressed up and do all the, glitz and glamour and everything. And I was like, great, where would you go? And she was like, oh, a nice restaurant in the city. Okay, where? Like, what would you wear? Well, I haven't thought that out. So this is how my brain works. You saying you want someone to show up for a person who's not energetically ready to receive it. What do you think the universe is going to do? Because the universe doesn't respond to what you say. The universe responds to what you can energetically hold. So I told her to take herself out on a date. Why you got to wait for a man to come and take you out or a woman to take you out? Why? You teach people how to treat you, but you have to know yourself in order to teach people who you are. Take yourself out on a date. Plan a solo, joyful date. Go out to dinner by yourself. Dress up. Get dolled up. Take the selfies. Do everything you would do as if someone is on the other side waiting for you. Because you're worth the effort too. You shouldn't put more effort into yourself for somebody else than you would for just yourself. You're worth it. So put in that extra effort. Another thing you can do is create rituals. Start your day with meditation, music, journaling that speaks to you. Whatever that self-care thing is to you, do that for you. I don't care if you have only 5 minutes. That is 5 minutes that belongs to you, and no one else can take that from you. Another thing you can do is start connecting with purpose. Just because you're alone doesn't mean you're isolated. We're not in COVID anymore, okay? Build a community. You can join a community. They have meetup. They have networking groups. They have all of these accessible groups at your fingertips. But you rather be online on social media looking at other people lying about their life, because we all know that's a lie. People only post what they want you to see. And then the other people who always come to you and always posting there's something going on, and they said they're attention seekers. We don't need none of it. Any of it. If you don't have that tribe that pours back into you as much as you pour into them, create your own. Stop waiting for someone to create something that you know you can do. You know what you like. You know what you don't like. So stop waiting for somebody to save you and save yourself. Another thing you can do is protect your peace. Not everyone deserves access to your time and energy, especially when you're healing and growing. That's why I always talk about boundaries. Your boundaries are your tools in expressing how people should treat you. And your boundaries will change over time based on the season you are in your life. And that is okay. It's your responsibility to establish boundaries. It's your responsibility to enforce those boundaries. And it's your responsibility to check in on those boundaries. Are they still relevant? Do I need to create more boundaries for this season in my life? No one deserves 24 access to you. Not your parents, not your kids, not your job, no one. Not your spouse, no one. Because you can only operate from what you pour back into yourself. It's a lot of empty cups functioning out here, and they wonder why they burnt out, resentful, and can't manifest or attract what they know they want. You have to operate from a level of fullness. And you don't have to be running over for the universe to respond to you, but you do have to pay some type of attention to yourself where you can energetically and physically receive that type of healing, that type of reassurance, that type of refueling, right? So let me be crystal clear, just in case I have not been clear so far. And let me speak directly to the one who's scrolling on a Friday night, wondering if they're missing out. You're not. You're not missing out. You're at the right place at the right time for the right reason. This is my PSA to let you know that you are not missing out when you are operating in your aloneness. Because that aloneness is here for a reason and is here for a season. But you always still want to incorporate some type of alone self-care ritual every single day. And like I said, it can be 2 hours or it can be 2 minutes. As long as you have that time for only you. Before you get up, make lunches, make breakfast. Before you hit a time clock, your responsibility is to you and only you first. Because if you're depleted, if you're resentful, then your kids gonna feel it, your partner gonna feel it, your community is gonna feel it. Okay? You are not missing out in your aloneness. You are building something sacred, something that's sustainable. A lot of people jump into these relationships because they jump into this in relationships because they do not want to be alone. They do not want to take out that time from the previous relationship or a previous traumatic situation to learn the lessons, to grow from that. They trying to skirt around it and go around it. The only way to grow from a traumatic experience, a hurtful experience, is to go through it. Avoiding it will only make it show up at a different time with a different person for a different reason. When you're sitting in your aloneness, you're breaking generational patterns. You're not continuing that narrative that we're going to be divorced. You're not continuing that narrative that you're going to always be by yourself. You're not going to continue that narrative that there are no good men or women out here. You're breaking that pattern. You're breaking that generational pattern because you set with self. You set and you have grown in that aloneness. You're not trying to hop from a relationship to a relationship just because you got just to tell yourself that you have someone. Who are you living for? Them or you? Who are you living for? The gram or yourself? Because social media, it's a great way to connect to people, but people show you what they want you to see. Okay? It's like watching a movie. So when you sit with yourself and give yourself that time and that space, you're becoming the love you used to beg for. You're not asking for someone to show up. You're not asking for someone to love you. You are the love. You are showing up for yourself. It's you. You are the person. And when the right person comes along, they won't complete you. I said this earlier, because you're already whole. They are the accessory or the complement to your wholeness. And when you attract someone in your wholeness, you are attracting a whole person as well. But when you attract someone in your loneliness, you are attracting a partner in their desperation. So the fallacy of being alone means that no one wants you. I hope that I debunk that myth, because aloneness is not loneliness. It's a difference. So before I let you go, here is your challenge this week, because I hate this narrative that is going around just because you're single, something is wrong with you, or sometimes people are single by choice. When I went through my divorce, I purposely did not date for a full year. I did not want to carry on emotional baggage from my previous relationship to another relationship, giving that person emotional baggage that he didn't even sign up for. That's not fair to that person, and it's not fair to myself. I'm doing us both a disservice. So I want you to do one thing for me, which will be for yourself, is do one thing alone that you've been avoiding. Just one. Just one. Trust me. Just trust the process. Do one thing this week. Don't wait till next week, because we do actionary steps now. We don't put them off. Do one thing by yourself that you've been avoiding. You may be waiting on the perfect person to take you to do this thing. Stop waiting. Stop waiting and start living. Okay? Go to that movie. Take that walk. Sit in stillness. Remind yourself that your own company is not a punishment. It's a privilege. It's a privilege to gain access to you. And you have to move as such. You have to remember that. No one should ever have 24/7 access to you. No one. You have to remind yourself that you are the best thing since sliced bread, period. Remember that alone doesn't mean unloved. You are already enough. And if someone didn't remind you of that, screw them. Bye. They are not reinforcing what you know, who and what you are. They're not. Anybody that's contradicting what you know, who you are, you don't need them in your life anyway. You have to remember that in your aloneness, that's your time. That's your self-care. That's your self-care to you mentally, emotionally. Things that we cannot see. You deserve that, and you owe that to yourself. So if this episode resonated with you, if it struck a chord with you, share it with someone who really needs to hear it. Because we have a lot of toxic relationships out there who are just surviving because no one wants to cut the cord. No one wants to be by themselves, because even toxicity is familiar to them. So they rather be in toxic relationship than to sit with self. Share this video with them. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, because I drop power sessions every week with a different topic, from life to relationship to everything in between. And tag me on Instagram, because you're following me. I know you are, at Dr._Freda_coaching on Instagram. And let me know your takeaway from this power session today. Join my love lounge on my website. Everything will be in the description below, because I created a safe space. Remember, I was saying earlier, if you don't have that space, create it yourself. You create the community. So I created a private, free community called the Love Lounge for everyone to come in and to just be inspired and empowered and educated by me on their daily, weekly journey called life. Like I said, the world does a great job telling us that we're not enough. I'm here to remind you that you are. So, and lastly, If you are considering dating online or you have been dating online and nothing is happening, I just created a self-paced program on how to date online. And let me tell you, when I say it is mind-blowing, revolutionary, innovative program that will remind you who you are, show you, give you the blueprint on how to date, when to date, how to set up that bio, from weekly videos from myself, as well as a one-on-one 60-minute consultation with me and within that program. That in itself is enough. But I always say, proof should be in the pudding. I met my partner on Hinge. And no, this is not a paid advertisement for Hinge, but I'm just saying I know a little something, something. All that information will be in the description below. So head over to my website and join the Love Lounge. If you're interested in enrolling into my self-paced How to Date Online program, that information will be down as well. And remember, you are not alone in this journey. That's why, Coach, put me in. I'm here to help you. You are definitely not lonely. Operating in your aloneness is to grow you. It's to help you to remember your purpose and your passion. Until next time, stay empowered, stay rooted, and stay unapologetically yourself. I'm Dr. Freda, and I'll see you next week.